Catherine O'Hara, one of the most influential comedic performers of the last 50 years, has died at the age of 71, according to publicly reported information confirmed by major news outlets. For millions of viewers, she wasn't just a familiar face on screen. She was a constant presence across generations, quietly shaping what modern comedy looks like, sounds like, and feels like. But behind the iconic roles, the awards, and the instantly recognizable performances, there is a larger story, one that explains why her impact went far beyond individual characters, and why her absence leaves a space that cannot easily be filled. The news and what is publicly known, according to reports confirmed by her representatives and covered by major international outlets, Catherine O'Hara passed away at the age of 71. No detailed medical cause has been publicly disclosed at the time of reporting, and official statements have emphasized privacy for her family and loved ones. The announcement prompted an immediate response across the entertainment industry, with actors, filmmakers, comedians, and fans reflecting on the breadth of her work and the longevity of her influence. What makes this moment particularly significant is not only the loss of a beloved performer, but the conclusion of a career that spanned more than 5 decades, one that quietly but decisively shaped ensemble comedy, character-driven storytelling, and improvisational performance on screen. Early life and formative years. Catherine Ann O'Hara was born in Toronto, Canada, in 1954, into a large working family. She grew up as one of 7 children, in a household that valued creativity but did not come from the entertainment industry. Her early exposure to performance came not through celebrity ambition, but through community theatre and school productions, environments where experimentation mattered more than perfection. These early experiences planted the seeds for what would later become her defining strength, the ability to fully inhabit a character without self-consciousness. That instinct would prove essential when she joined one of the most important training grounds for comedians in North America, SCTV, and the foundation of her style. O'Hara rose to national attention in the late 1970s as a cast member of Second City Television, better known as SCTV. Working alongside performers such as Eugene Levy, John Candy, Rick Moranis, Andrea Martin, and Harold Ramis, she helped define a new era of sketch comedy. SCTV differed from other sketch shows of its time in one crucial way. Characters were not disposable. They returned. They evolved. They became layered. O'Hara excelled in this environment. She was known for creating characters that were exaggerated on the surface, but grounded in emotional truth. Even in parody, there was sincerity. This period established her reputation not only as a comedian, but as a performer with unusual emotional intelligence. Someone who could make audiences laugh while quietly revealing vulnerability underneath. It was also during this time that her long creative partnership with Eugene Levy began, a collaboration that would extend across decades and multiple defining projects. Transition to film and mainstream recognition. By the 1980s, O'Hara transitioned into film, bringing with her a sensibility shaped by improvisation and character work rather than traditional leading lady archetypes. One of her most recognizable early film roles came in Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, 1988, where she played Delia Deetz. The performance stood out for its theatricality and commitment, a character that could have easily become one note, but instead felt oddly human beneath the eccentricity. Shortly afterward, she appeared in Home Alone, 1990, and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, 1992, as Kate McAllister, the frantic but determined mother at the center of the story. The role introduced her to a global audience and became a permanent fixture of holiday television. What often goes unnoticed about these performances is their balance. Even in broad family comedies, O'Hara avoided caricature, She grounded chaos in emotional clarity, allowing audiences to believe in the stakes, even when the situations were exaggerated. The Christopher Guest collaborations, another defining chapter of her career, came through her collaborations with filmmaker Christopher Guest. In a series of mockumentaries, including Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, and For Your Consideration, O'Hara helped define an entire genre. These films relied heavily on improvisation, requiring performers to build full characters without traditional scripts. O'Hara thrived under these conditions. Her performances were often praised for their restraint. She did not chase punchlines. Instead, she allowed humor to emerge organically from insecurity, ambition, and self-deception, themes that resonated deeply with audiences. Critics frequently noted that she had a rare ability to make fictional characters feel like real people who happened to be funny, or rather than comedians playing roles. A late career renaissance with Schitt's Creek. In 2015, Catherine O'Hara reached a new generation of viewers through Schitt's Creek. As Moira Rose, a former soap opera star displaced from wealth, she delivered what many consider the defining performance of her career. Moira was flamboyant, dramatic, and instantly quotable. But what elevated the character was O'Hara's commitment to sincerity. Beneath the wigs, costumes, and exaggerated diction was a woman grappling with identity, relevance, and family. The role earned her widespread critical acclaim, including a Primetime Emmy Award, and introduced her work to younger audiences who had not grown up with SCTV or her earlier films. Importantly, the success of Schitt's Creek reinforced a central truth about her career. Catherine O'Hara was never bound to a single era. She evolved with the medium without losing her voice. Voice work and versatility. Beyond live-action roles, O'Hara also contributed to animation and voice acting, lending her voice to projects such as The Nightmare Before Christmas, Over the Hedge, and Frankenweenie. These roles further demonstrated her versatility and her ability to communicate character through rhythm, timing, and tone alone. Skills developed over decades of performance, industry respect, and influence. Throughout her career, O'Hara was consistently cited by peers as a performer who elevated ensemble work. Directors valued her adaptability. Fellow actors described her as generous, focused, and deeply committed to the craft. Unlike many performers associated with iconic roles, she resisted being boxed into a single identity. Instead, she moved fluidly between comedy and drama, lead and supporting roles, mainstream and experimental projects. Her influence can be seen in countless contemporary performers who prioritize character integrity over surface-level humor. Why her passing resonates. The death of Catherine O'Hara resonates not because of sudden shock, but because it marks the conclusion of a rare career, one built on longevity, respect, and creative consistency. She did not rely on controversy. She did not chase relevance. She allowed her work to speak for itself. In an industry often defined by rapid cycles of attention, her career stands as an example of endurance built on substance. Catherine O'Hara leaves behind a body of work that continues to be discovered, revisited, and studied, not just for its humor, but for its humanity. Her performances remind us that comedy is not simply about jokes, but about recognition. Seeing ourselves in flawed, searching characters and finding connection through laughter. As audiences revisit her films and series in the years ahead, the question becomes not what comes next for her legacy, but how many more generations will continue to find something timeless in the work she left behind. In the next video, we'll take a closer look at how her approach to character quietly changed ensemble comedy, and why her influence remains present in modern television long after the final scene fades.